Men are born into one of 6 playable classes. You can't choose who you are, and you can't choose where you fall within the hierarchy. It takes an incredibly special person to be able to do that. The Sigma male is a complicated concept, and in order to properly understand it, requires an understanding of the rest of the hierarchical classes. Let's talk about the male sociosexual hierarchy. I'm Jake. If you want to support me, you could like this video, you can comment below, you can follow me on Instagram at SolidStateJake, and you could subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that yet. I would appreciate that. I would appreciate that, baby, please. That's what a Sigma would do. A Sigma would subscribe to my channel and I'll go boost this thing to the fucking moon, right? The sociosexual hierarchy is a series of hierarchical roles developed by a man named Vox Day. Vox has videos at his channel, Voxiversity, that explain these concepts, but he's much older, and you might want to hear this from somebody as hip and cool and fresh as me, okay? That's what you might want to do. Plus, I'm not exactly sure that he would agree with my take on Sigmas, so, Vox, let me know, dude. Let me know.
Dana White, call me! I want Canelo, baby! Dana, call me!
So, all the credit goes to Vox Day, of course. I think this is as close to a complete view of a heuristical model of the social dynamics of men as we're gonna get for a while, because we fucking know that academia isn't working on this problem, so we kind of have to just figure it out ourselves. God damn it, my cheeks are fat, dude. I'm about to hand you a rare candy, man, okay? I'm about to level your ass up. Let's go. So there are 5 roles or classes that a man can assume. That's Alpha, Bravo, Delta, Gamma, and Omega. And then there's a secondary kind of external role that a man can assume, and that is the Sigma. And we are going to touch on the Sigma last, because you have to understand the rest of the hierarchy to be able to comprehend Sigmas properly. So first, Alpha. I'm not going to go too deeply into the Alpha because they're boring. They're one of the most predictable and least occupied roles, necessarily so, because only one man can hold the position of Alpha within any given dominance hierarchy. He's the leader of the hierarchy. There's only one of them. But basically, you can think of Aragorn from Lord of the Rings, right? He's like a quintessential Alpha.
This is no mere ranger. He is Aragorn, son of Arathorn.
Basically, they're at the top, they know they're at the top, and they need you to acknowledge that they are at the top. They're incredibly keyed in to social worth and value and status. They command the most reproductive power, and their status is generally respected by all members of the hierarchy except for Gammas and Sigmas, which we'll get into a little bit later. Second, Bravo. A Bravo is Alpha light, basically. They're the Alpha's right-hand man. They're loyal to him, they're protective of him, and they reap a lot of the rewards that the Alpha does without as much responsibility. They're typically kind people, they're typically pretty cool, right? But they lack the ambition and the status awareness and social awareness that the Alpha has that elevates them to the position that they typically occupy. You'll run into issues with the Bravo when you're disloyal or disrespectful to him or to the Alpha which he follows. Third, Delta. Okay, here's where we start to get into some of the more interesting players because they're more common. The Delta is the stem cell of our society. They are the cogs in the machine that keep our communities running. They do one job and they do it well. They appreciate hard work and are less concerned about their relative position within the hierarchy. According to Vox, societies which cater most strongly to their deltas are ultimately the most successful, since deltas are the most important members of our society. Who picks up your garbage? Deltas. Who fixes your cars? Deltas. Who makes sure the streets are salted and plowed? Deltas. You see where I'm going with this? Delta's defining characteristic is competence. They admire and appreciate competence above all else. Side note alert, Vox has a brilliant observation that he makes with respect to deltas, and I'm gonna read you something real quick that kind of paraphrases it. The institution of marriage, ceremonial monogamy, one man, one woman, is one of the most important things to happen sociologically speaking because it ensures that deltas are able to find women and procreate. It would often be the case that alphas and bravos would snatch up all the women. I think we all understand that a man without any bitches struggles very deeply to consider himself a man at all. Whether or not you believe in evolution, there are both secular and religious reasons as to why a man gotta fuck, yo. Fourth, Gammas. Gammas are the most useful class to understand and the most annoying. They're degenerate, weak men create bad times type motherfuckers, all right? They're Redditors, soy boys, male feminists, all right? And I'm gonna give you a list of some attributes that they typically possess. Not all of them, but if you possess a lot of these, you might need to check yourself, dude. You might need to take a serious look in the mirror and see what's going on, right? They have above average intelligence. They're passive aggressive and snarky. They're habitually dishonest, and they're dishonest in a way where you look at them and you're just like, dude, why the fuck would you even lie about that? Okay, and when they're caught lying, they will double down. Typically, they have low muscle mass, not always. We'll get into that in a little while. They have obsessive knowledge about a niche topic, and they expect you to respect that. They use flowery language. They are the opposite of direct and concise. Women find them absolutely repulsive. They're narcissistic. They believe they should be in charge due to their intellect. And this is a very dangerous and disruptive force within any organization or hierarchy. To quote Vox directly, whenever you see SJWs infesting and attempting to force change on an otherwise healthy organization, you can be pretty sure that the men involved are going to be gammas. Alphas can sense gammas a fucking mile away. Okay, so can women. To anyone who's especially attuned to social dynamics, gammas are like fucking nuclear radiation, dude. Your Geiger counter is just gonna go stupid when they come anywhere near you. Everything they do sets off every red flag in your fucking head. An interesting observation that one could actually make is that alphas, gammas, and women are the most directly concerned with relative hierarchical positions. In fact, gammas and women share a lot in common. It's why you have this feeling when you interact with them where you're like, dude, why are you being a fucking bitch right now? Like, why are you doing that? Gammas are also keenly aware of their low status, and they believe that that should be remedied via their intelligence, like we talked about before. I'm not saying I'm an alpha. I don't make claims like that, and I seriously don't care. But what I am saying is that if you even look at me in a certain way, I immediately know you. I immediately know who you are. I can see your soul, okay? The source hits me with the download, dude. I know what you're gonna say before you say it, and I know what you're gonna do before you fucking do it, man. This is one of the gifts that God gave me, okay? It is a deep understanding for social dynamics and people's psychology. It is by far my most powerful start game perk, okay? That's another thing. Another side note alert, okay? Make sure you guys take an honest account of your strengths and weaknesses. We all have strengths, we all have weaknesses, and you need to figure them out, okay? You're operating at a disadvantage if you don't know what you're good at, what you're bad at, what you're capable of, what you're incapable of, etc. 5, Omega. The Omega is tragedy incarnate. They are so socially worthless that they are effectively outside of the hierarchy, but only because their value so closely equals 0. I'm just gonna clip Vox talking about this because he sums it up well, and I don't really feel like talking about Omegas, man. It really just like fucks my soul.
The Omega is the quintessential social reject.
Excuse me?
The Omega is the one
Excuse me?
who is not even in the game where women are concerned. You know, whereas the Gamma might be the one muttering in his beer to his friend in the corner at the party, nobody ever even thought of inviting the Omega. The Omega is literally never there. And Omegas tend to creep women out. Just the mere fact of them being around, even if they don't say anything, is often upsetting to women. They're not necessarily incompetent. They're merely socially handicapped, usually in multiple ways. Omegas can be the classic school shooters. If you look at Adam Lanza of Sandy Hook fame, he would be an obvious example of the Omega type. Omegas tend to keep to themselves. They don't tend to have many male friends. They don't tend to have any female relationships at all. You know, most of them live quiet lives, keeping mostly to themselves, although, as was shown in the movie Office Space, they do occasionally snap.
Before we get into the Sigma, I need to explain to you guys a very important principle of the male RPG. 1, you cannot choose your role. You are who you are, and it takes a very special person to be able to decide their psychology. I'm not even sure that's possible. 2, Hierarchies are fractal. You can be an alpha in one situation and a delta in another. Here's an interesting little tidbit. When a gamma becomes the leader over another group of gammas, and by the way, a group of gammas is called a gamma hive. They are what's called a king gamma. Think of Joffrey from Game of Thrones. 3, there is class mobility, but it is very limited and it is very dependent upon who is in the room at the time. And the reason I bring this up is because I see videos, I see articles, I see books on how to become an alpha, how to become a sigma. And it's Snakeoil, dude. You can't do that. You can't just become something else. It's not possible. If you are so deeply insecure and narcissistic and pathological that you are a gamma, you're fucked, dude. You're just like kind of fucked. Like you're not gonna ever be Aragorn from Lord of the Rings. Like that's what? That's never, you're not gonna go from Worm Tongue to fucking Aragorn. All right, that's never gonna happen. Side note, Gimli and Legolas are excellent examples of bravos, right? They're very protective of Aragorn. They back him up. They're his enforcers, etc., etc. You see what I'm saying? Finally, 6, Sigma. The Sigma is complicated and pretty much useless as far as practical concepts go because the Sigma is the rarest of the playable male classes. The Sigma is essentially what you get when you combine the Alpha and the Omega, all right? The Sigma is the only character that exists outside of the hierarchy. And the only reason that this is the case is because they simply don't care, right? It's not that they choose to excuse themselves from the hierarchy. That's not possible. You can't just choose to not be a part of a hierarchy. That doesn't make any sense. It's only possible because it doesn't matter to them. Their apathy is their strength. Because they are not beholden to the dominance hierarchy, they are the only character which directly challenges the alpha's authority and dominance. An excellent contrast for an alpha and an omega are those Breakfast Club kids. There's like that jock motherfucker, all right? And then there's the burnout punk kid. That is a perfect example. Perfect.
Can you hear this? Do you want me to turn it up? Fell asleep.
The defining characteristic of the Sigma is cool. They're cool, right? And this coolness comes from their apathy.
You through?
Not even close, bud.
Good. You got one more right there.
You really think I give a shit?
And this is kind of a philosophical point about apathy, but you can't feign apathy, all right? You can't fake apathy. A reverence for the hierarchy is a reverence for tradition. It's a reverence for God. It's a reverence for biology. It's a reverence for what is and what was. We as people, but most specifically us as men, romanticize those who poke at and undermine what is because it reminds us that there are other worlds that could be. The Sigma is the foil to the Alpha. The Alpha represents all those things that we just mentioned: tradition, biology, God, history. And the Sigma is the manifestation of what happens when someone doesn't give a fuck about any of those things. There's immense value in tradition, and we see today the horrors wreaked in Western societies by the abolition of our traditions, done in the name of nothingness and nihilism and degenerate propaganda. But the flip side of that is that sometimes tradition functions as shackles, and it requires a revolutionary figure to free the minds of those around them. It takes someone that is courageous enough to not care, and that is the Sigma. I have yet to see any of the people that I've seen online that claim to be Sigmas actually be Sigmas. Okay, man, I just need to talk about this one more time. If you use the phrase Sigma grind set, you are not and you will never be a Sigma. You are most likely a Gamma, okay? You are most likely a Gamma, or you are like a Delta that is dreaming, bro. Like you are dreaming, okay? That is the gay thing I've ever heard in my entire fucking life. Every time you use the phrase Sigma grind set, you sterilize every uterus within a 200 fucking like universe radius, dude. It's literally should be illegal to be that much of a fucking just wastoid loser. You can't say that, man. You're not allowed to say things like Sigma grind set. Okay, you're just not. And you're definitely not allowed to talk about things like that that you just don't fucking understand. Okay, a Sigma grind set. Please let me die. Every time I see somebody say that, I'm just like, fucking end it. Just one in the back of the head, please, right now. All right, bros, that is the summation of the male sociosexual hierarchy. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm gonna leave you with a quick quote from Vox about Sigmas. Vox says, Sigmas are outsiders who don't play the social game but manage to win it anyhow. I need you to seriously reconsider ever talking about being a Sigma ever again, okay? You can't become something, and if you talk about being a Sigma, you're probably not a Sigma, right? You know what I'm saying? Like as soon as you say that, it's over. You're not one, right? An alpha can say he's an alpha because he's like, it's like the king being like, I'm the fucking king, right? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, guys. Again, if you found value in this, please like it, please subscribe, please comment, all right? Interact with me. You can go follow me at Solid State Jake on Instagram. I'm more active there because it's easier to just communicate and put out short little pieces of content. All right. Hope you have a good day. Go out there and kick today's ass. Go kick tonight's ass. Get a good night's sleep. Go lift some heavy ass shit tomorrow and eat some good food. All right. That's all you need. That's all you need in this life. And then get yourself a nice hot honey. All right. Do that. Do that. Peace out. Peace out. Peace out. Peace out.